every weekend I fill up my little bike trailer full of empty jars that I take to my local zero-waste grocery store called Nude Foods. Don't get too excited. It is not a clothing optional grocery store. I found that out the hard way. I don't think it's really fair because all their advertising features naked people. But so Rachel, you got a closer for me?
Yeah, just
bring it home.
Just say that the entire food system has been designed for profit and nothing else. And it has been designed for profit at the expense of people, animals, the environment, our health, our community relations, pretty much everything. And that system cannot change and it will not change. And so we are creating a new system that is outside of that system that is supportive of all of the things that the regular system is extracting.
I love it. Yeah, we talked about the trucking. We talked a little bit about animal cruelty. If you want to know all the other layers of cruelty and extraction and whatever, I would say read this book. What you just said reminds me of something I like to say, which is I'm actually a big believer in markets, and I love the fact that your name is Nude Food Market. Nude Foods Market, yeah. And I think markets are like this wonderful innovation where humans can self-organize. But the way I differ from libertarians who want free market capitalism is that the simple way I like to frame it is I want to have healthy markets. And healthy markets are where, you have lots of options at lots of price points. That's from the consumer's point of view. And then you're sustaining lots of livelihoods in a way that's, you have less burnout and you have healthier environments and you exploit fewer people. And I just think that Nude Foods is a healthy market, and that's why I love it.
Thank you.
We ain't throwing starfish here, now we're having a good party. Talking about structural change. We believe the land is sacred, even beneath that vacant parking lot, where the weeds are doing their best to express the need for something different. Gonna make some space for you and me to live here all together. Gonna make it safe and fun for kids to get around the town. Gonna find me a residential pedestrian district where I can gracefully grow older. Gonna spend my remaining years sharing Boulder.
Hello, Boulder and the wider world. This is the Sharing Boulder podcast. For episode 53, I interviewed Rachel Irons, who is a co-founder and CEO of Nude Foods Market, which is on a mission to build a new food system based on circular economies, regenerative farming practices, and reusable jars. I met her at the Boulder store early on a Sunday morning, and we discussed what it takes to support local businesses and provide ethically sourced foods that don't exploit human labor, destroy the environment, or give money to large food systems run by multinational conglomerates. In preparation for this episode, I watched several videos of the Nude Foods YouTube channel and read a book that Rachel recommended called The Secret Life of Groceries by Benjamin Lorr. This book filled me with dread and despair when I contemplate how our food systems are profiting from unfair labor markets, destroying the environment, and creating unfathomable animal suffering. I am so thankful to have a store like Nude Foods where they are working so hard to address these issues. I hope you will join me in shopping there. I have one clarification I would like to make. One of my comments about how people waste time and money could possibly be interpreted as implying that Nude Foods is an expensive place to buy groceries. If price is the only signal you care about, then yeah, you might be better off buying your food from the conventional food system. But as a frequent shopper there, I find the value to be incredible. And I fill up my grocery cart full of high-quality, nutritious food, and I never spend anywhere near what I used to spend at Costco when I shop there regularly. Finally, I've included about 5 minutes of comedy at the very end of this episode, where I explore my moral failings as an ethical consumer. I hope it's good for a giggle. In the meantime, I hope you enjoyed this conversation with Rachel Irons.
Rachel, welcome to Sharing Boulder. Thanks so much for being here.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Do you mind introducing yourself and telling us a bit about Nude Foods?
Yes. I am Rachel Irons. I am co-founder and CEO of Nude Foods Market. We have stores in Boulder and Denver, and we are a zero-waste grocery store. And for us, what that means is no packaging or as little packaging as possible. So we receive our products in bulk and package them into reusable containers. This allows our customers to shop just like they're at any other store. All they do is bring back the containers when they're done, and we wash them and refill them. So trying to make the zero waste experience as easy and streamlined and similar to what everyone is used to as possible. And the other big thing we do is we're really, really careful about our sourcing. So right now, the way that our food system is, you can't really trust mostly where your food is coming from. There's a lot of greenwashing, there's a lot of labels and words that don't mean anything, and it's really hard as a consumer to actually know what you're eating and to make sure that what you're eating is things that you actually want to put in your body. So we do all that work for you. We really research every product that we have, where it comes from, what's good about it, what's bad about it, because you can't, there's some things that aren't perfect, but we want to make sure that we know what the problems are and communicate them so that as a customer, you can come in and just not have to worry about it and shop with ease.
That is awesome. I'm a big fan. I love this store. And I, like thinking about having every individual navigate this economy to make choices for themselves about, like going down the aisles of Whole Foods or King Soopers. It's an impossible task. So thank you for doing a heavy lift to make it easier for people to shop.
That's what we're here for.
In a healthy way. So we met a week ago and had coffee and talked about this conversation. And you recommended this book to me called The Secret Life of Groceries by Benjamin Lorr, I think, Lorr. Yeah. And so my brain is so lit up. I've been so excited about this conversation for a while now. But one of the kind of sweet little things we did at that coffee was just talk about how great the sun is and the earth. And I thought maybe we just take a moment to just honor the sun and and this wonderful planet we live on.
Yeah.
So any thoughts about how great the sun is?
Well, the sun literally gives us everything. We would not be here without it. We would be destroyed very quickly if it went away. And it's good to appreciate that sometimes, that even with all of our great technology and everything that we've achieved as humans, we are still nothing without the sun.
We are nothing without the sun. And when it comes to food, I love to think about how you take some water and some carbon dioxide and the energy of the sun, and a peach tree can do photosynthesis and produce this fist-sized ball of sugar, that's so delicious and wonderful. And everything is like that we eat. It all comes from the heat of that nuclear reactor or whatever is powering it. All right, so this is actually more about humans and planet Earth, but it ties into the sun. So this is from a song called Heliosphere by the Clang Phonics. And he says, "Consider again that dot. That's here. That's home. That's us. On it, everyone you love, everyone you know, everyone you've ever heard of, every human being, whoever was, lived there on a mote of dust, suspended in a sunbeam. A lonely speck in all this vastness, the only home we've ever known, the pale blue dot." And so that's the context. Here we are on planet Earth, trying to survive and eat and get places and love people, and that's I wanted to ground it in the cosmos somehow.
My philosophy on life is on one hand, we're a speck of dust on a speck of dust, and nothing really matters. And on the other hand, as long as we're here, we might as well do our best.
Yeah, and it's everything we've got. You know?
Yeah. But I think it's good to hold both because, you know, if you get overwhelmed, like, well, really, does it matter? Maybe not. But
it does matter. Of course it does.
It matters to us here in this moment. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
For sure. That's why I do what I do.
Yeah. Thank you for giving a shit.
No problem.
Yeah. Okay. So I read this book in anticipation, and there's so much to say about it. I hope this doesn't just become one big book review, but there's so much in that book that tees up the important work you're doing here that I just want to recommend it to listeners. I'll make sure it's in the show notes. But the thing I wanted to start off with was this story of the woman who's trying to bring Slasa to market. I forgot her name. I'm sorry.
I also don't know.
But I assume you remember that there's this woman who's like trying to market a combination of salsa and
yes,
coleslaw.
I remember this now. Yes.
And the thing that really spurred for me is here's this woman who is working so hard to bring a new product to market, and one of the narrative of this the kind of the context of it is that the more success you have, the bigger the failure because you're inevitably going to fail unless you're just one in a trillion. And so every time you get past some stage of getting closer to making it big, the failure is more heartbreaking and more devastating. And she worked with such passion and put she sounded like someone who was extremely frugal with her time and her money so that she could put this business together. Like every waking moment was dedicated to realizing this dream that she had. And I just started thinking about how, like, if that's what it takes to put Slasa on the shelf so that I can have it, like that's a lot to ask of a normal human being. And what it spurred for me is thinking about, like, when I see the sign when I come in Nude Foods that says you have 85 local businesses that you're supporting. What an incredible opportunity that you're providing them shelf space and the marketing and the ability to get that in front of customers.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a really cool part of what we do is so I actually, before Nude Foods, I had a small food business myself, and that was like my business school. That's when I knew nothing. That's how I learned stuff. So I've been through that journey too. And
your business started in your kitchen. You made some small batches. You're like, should I sell this? Or no, was it kind of bigger than that?
It actually, that's kind of a tangent.
Oh, sorry.
we could get into it, but I had the idea for that business and Nude Foods at the same time. Okay. Really, because what I thought was, if this is really successful, what could it turn into? And it was basically Nude Foods. But Nude Foods is very complicated. Yeah. And again, I had no idea what I was doing. So I did this kind of small thing first and sold at farmers markets and some local grocery stores. And then at one point, kind of the stars aligned and Nude Foods was able to happen. So it's a separate thing. But given that experience, that has allowed me to be supportive to a lot of companies that are just starting. And in some cases, almost we kind of act as, a mini incubator, because I can do some hand holding and give some advice and, here's the licenses you need. here's how you should think about your costing, things like that. And, if it's a good product and if it's our standards, then here's a place on the shelf. And what's really cool for businesses that are really just starting out, and if they maybe want to try something, is they don't even figure out the packaging.
Oh, yeah. Interesting. Yeah.
So there's actually a couple of companies right now that we're talking about doing like some dog treats with to try and recover more parts of the animal for cows and chickens, which is awesome. There's way more waste there than you want to know. And we don't have to figure out the packaging because we can just try it out here without the packaging.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I wondered if there was a couple of businesses that you'd want to highlight that you have exciting, great partnerships with.
Wow. There's a lot. Can I have a moment to think?
Sure. Can I ask a question about one?
Yeah.
I love the kinship bread.
The kinship bread is great.
And I love the name. And I think I've seen the guy coming in and out. Ben. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I've met him or not. But I get such a positive vibe out of the display, and the bread itself is incredible. And I hope this is a sustainable business for him, because I would just love to eat kinship bread the rest of my life.
Ben is an incredible human. He is so passionate, so detail oriented, and puts so much love into that bread. And like, that's why it's so good, because he has perfected every single step of the process, and his sourcing, he gets a lot of Colorado grain. Some of his loaves are 100% Colorado grain,
nice.
Which is awesome.
Yeah.
And he has incredibly high standards that he holds himself to. And that bread is, I think, the best bread I've ever had. Because you can tell when someone puts that much time and energy and dedication into something, it makes it better. It's wild how that works.
It is so good. We I'll bring it home. I bought a special knife just for this bread because it's a little difficult to cut through. But I set it on the cutting board. I set the knife there. I'll cut off a few pieces, and I just leave it out. And people come by and grab some. And if you forget about it, leave it overnight. It doesn't just dry out in a couple hours. It's like it's got so much moisture. And it's got such heft to it, but it's so good. So
yeah, we love our partnership with Ben. We are trying to even build more on it and bring the bread into more prominence and do more things with the bread. We're hoping to get someone into maybe sandwiches and things like that. So yeah, the bread is amazing. And it's, comes to us totally unpackaged. You can take it home unpackaged. It's great.
It is great. Did you think of another one you want to highlight?
I mean, there's a lot, but
yeah, I know. I'm sorry. There's 85 local businesses. Is that the right number, or what's the number on the?
Yeah, I mean, it's always fluctuating a little bit, and with seasonally with farms and things like that, but it's around that.
Yeah.
Rev Kombucha is really good. That's another one where they just go above and beyond in like the time and effort that they've put into their kombucha process, and it shows. It's just better than other kombucha. And it tastes different, and you can tell that because the process is different.
Whenever I drink a bottle of kombucha from the grocery store in a glass bottle, I always think about The Gods Must Be Crazy, which was this 80s movie I grew up with, where he casually throws a Coke bottle out the window of his airplane, and the bottle drops into a tribe of bush people. I'm not sure if that's the right word or not, but the bottle represents this technology that transforms this little community. And I just, every time, and so I drink a single-use glass bottle of kombucha, and I think the technology here, like you could use this beautiful vessel for the rest of your life.
You could. Yeah.
And here I am using it one time. And I just decided I was done with kombucha, because like, as much as I like it and it's fancy and it tastes wonderful, like it's not worth asking the earth to extract that bottle for me to use it one time. And it's not like when you recycle it, they just wash it out and reuse it. It gets crushed into glass and gets made into some lower grade product material. And so one of the things I love about Nude Foods is that it rescued kombucha for me. Like it's something I can enjoy again without feeling like I'm being so callous about this glass bottle.
Yeah. I think I've actually heard that feedback from a lot of people, is that we have, and this depends on the person, because everyone's in a different spot in you know, their lives, how much they're caring about their food. But for people that are really concerned about where their food comes from, and have given up a lot of things because of it, we have allowed a lot more flexibility. So with meat, for example, so many people have given up meat because the way that meat is raised in this country is atrocious and should not be done, and it's awful, and is my main motivating factor behind Nude Foods, really.
Wow.
Is that I think the meat industry as it is so wrong, and we should not as a society let it exist. But there is some really good meat around, and we have things like wild boar, which is an invasive species, and so eating it is actually helping the environment, and supporting regenerative agriculture, which, you know, grazing cows in a way that is also helping the environment. And, you know, there's certainly lots of pushback on what I just said, and everyone has their own opinions, and I think that everyone should, you know, honor the diet that feels right for them. But there's a lot of people that do not want to participate in the factory farming system, and the only option generally is to avoid meat. But if we can offer some good meat that you eat less often, but still have some, that actually allows a lot of people to maintain a diet for longer, because they're not being so restrictive. So allowing that flexibility, and allowing, you know, maybe once a week I eat meat, or once a month, or maybe only on Christmas, or whatever it is, but I know it's good meat that I feel okay about, then that's a much more sustainable diet for a lot of people to stick to their whole lives.
There was a the book, the Secret Life of Groceries, does talk about meat some. It's not the emphasis is not to expose factory farming so much, but there was a moment near the end where he's talking about all the chickens in this vast factory farmed scenario, and in one little corner there's a door where they could theoretically
access to the outdoors.
And
that's free range.
And that makes it free range.
Yep.
And but no, the chickens don't live long enough, or don't have the wherewithal to use the door and roam freely and have have a wonderful chicken life.
Yeah.
They're just. And then I was watching one of your videos this morning about how the chickens are bred to grow so fast that they can't even, like, even if you just plunk them down in a grassy field, they basically have to roll around because they're
they
growing.
can walk,
yeah, they can walk, but
they're not displaying normal chicken behavior.
Yeah.
They certainly are not running or flying.
And so a couple of weeks ago, I had bought a pasture-raised chicken at Whole Foods, and maybe it grew up in a grassy field with eating grubs and stuff out of the grass, but I'm a little concerned that maybe it's too good to be true, because it tastes like conventional chicken.
Yeah, so Cornish cross is the breed that 99.99% of chickens in this country are. So everything from Whole Foods is a Cornish cross.
Okay.
Everything is a Cornish cross unless it says a heritage breed.
Okay.
And
so that means I bought a chicken that it's just barely functional as an animal. Or no, I don't know. Like how
it's so they can walk around. They can, but they're much more sedentary.
Okay.
But they're not like, I don't know.
It's not like Wall-E.
It's not quite like Wall-E.
They're not on wheels. Okay. All right.
No,
well,
they can walk around. They can eat, but they are really, really different. So think about corn. Wild corn versus what we have now. Wild corn looked like wheat,
Yeah.
and then we bred it into something that's very sugary and delicious. We've done kind of the same thing with chickens, but they're animals, and so there's some.
I've had friends and family who have raised chickens, and are those the same chickens? Or usually when people order chickens in the mail, there's some heritage breed?
Were they raising them for eggs or meat?
They were raising them for eggs.
Eggs are a different breed.
Oh, eggs are a different
Yeah.
breed. Okay.
Yeah, eggs are totally different. And there's a lot of different egg laying breeds that the egg laying chickens have not been bred nearly so intensively as the meat chickens.
Okay.
Yeah. And the way that those egg laying chickens behave, as you've probably seen, where they're like pecking and running around and they're very agile, that behavior is very different than what you'll see from a Cornish cross.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, because those are the chickens I think of that are like happy chickens that you have in your yard, and they're kind of like pets, and they get names and they have personalities.
Yeah.
And,
different than Cornish cross.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're talking about meat at the moment, and I think this is a nice opportunity to maybe talk about. I know you love to talk about the circular economy or circular. I can't remember the phrase that you use. Is it circular economy? Yeah. And maybe just sketch out for us, like if I get a meat product out of your freezer, a little bit about where that's coming from, how it got to that freezer.
Yeah. So it depends on the meat product, but let's go with beef. So all of our beef comes from grandma grass, which is local to Boulder County, so very local. All of the cows are grazed on county land using regenerative practices. And so the county actually wants this land to be grazed. So they have a partnership with grandma grass, because overgrazing can be bad for land. We all know about that, but undergrazing is also bad. So we live on the edge of a prairie. Where we are should be prairie, and prairie evolved with bison, and this mutual relationship where the bison graze the grass, and as they graze it, they pull on the grass, which makes the roots grow deeper, which sequesters more carbon in the soil. They also trample the grass and poop on the grass, which creates a layer of moisture, or a layer that helps lock in moisture into the dirt. And they're cycling nutrients because they're digesting grass and then pooping it out, which gets nitrogen back into the soil. So it's actually this really good relationship. It also has, when there was just vast prairie, it would change fire patterns and things like that. And if the grass is not grazed, none of that happens. And the grass and the earth relies on those interactions to stay healthy. So undergrazing can be bad for grass as well. And so a lot of the county land has either been overgrazed or undergrazed. And with proper grazing, where you give the grass enough and the soil enough time to recover in between, you can sequester more carbon in the soil, trap more moisture in the soil. You have deeper roots that are just providing more habitat and nutrients and carbon matter into the soil, and it's really good. So that's where our meat comes from.
Cool. Well, I know when I'm driving from like McCaslin down US 36 on my way to McDonald's at Baseline, and I see all the black cattle.
Yeah. I
always think, oh man, it sure would be nice if the cattle were in my burgers at McDonald's. Yeah. And I've often wondered, like, I wonder how you actually get to eat those free range cows. And the answer is grandma grass.
Grandma grass. Yeah, which is a type of grass.
And it's in your feet. It's in your freezer.
Yeah. Just side note on McDonald's burgers and fast food meat in general. I think if we just decided to just swap out all fast food meat for Impossible meat or some other meat substitute, no one would notice. And that would be a great way to bring down meat consumption.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to circle back on the you said, you kind of hinted at something a bit ago about how, maybe we eat less meat, and part of that is because the price of grandma grass in the freezer at Nude Foods is more than the price per pound at King Soopers for conventional ground beef. And I don't like, there's a few things converging. One is that, like, we don't all need to be eating double cheeseburgers every evening for dinner.
I don't.
I really like a cheeseburger on occasion, and like your point about like having a sustainable diet. Like I've many times thought, okay, I'm going to be a vegan now for real, and I proceed to eat every animal product that's in the house, but not buy replacements for it, and then I get to the end of that cycle, and I start feeling a little desperate for the appetites that I have, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I eat a lot of vegan meals, and I don't think I go a week with a vegan diet, but I often go days. And then I want to have some meat in my diet, and I love the notion of just eating a lot less meat but having it be super high quality.
Yeah, and I think it's okay to eat some meat if that's what you want, and if you don't want to eat meat, that's also okay.
Yeah. I also just as far as the cost goes, I just observe that when I'm about in the world observing other people, like I notice conspicuous consumption everywhere I look. You know, like whether it's at a fast food restaurant or at a high-end restaurant on Pearl Street, or and then that's coupled with I see people wasting copious amounts of time. You know, so like I know we often like kind of revert to like, oh well, people don't have time and money to like care about the planet, and I just want to call bullshit on that. Like everywhere I look, I see people consuming conspicuously and wasting time on their phones, and I feel like people could redirect their energies towards more healthy spending habits, and spend time cooking the foods that they carefully bought, and listen to podcasts instead of playing Candy Crush or whatever they're doing. I don't know.
It's true. It's tall order. I also do want to recognize that the environment that we live in is not conducive to what you just said.
Yeah.
And so by acting in that way, you are fighting against this whole corporate world we find ourselves in. But that's why we're doing what we're doing, because we're trying to make it an easier habit for people and take off some of that mental load. Because if you did want to go into a grocery store and research every single thing that you were about to buy, no one's going to do that.
Yeah.
I mean, a couple people do, but it takes
It's
a lot of brain power.
Start by reading this book. You know? Like,
Yeah. And then you'll be afraid to go in any grocery store.
Totally.
But if we can, reduce that mental load a little bit for people and make it so it's easier to step into these habits, that's our goal. And we're not, there's still a lot more we can do to make it easier for people, and we're trying to do that all the time. But it's, it's a complicated thing.
Did you want to say anything more about the circular economy?
Right.
And
I mostly just talked about regenerative.
We got to the ranchers.
Yeah.
And then there's local butchers who...
so there's local meat processing facilities. They all have to be USDA certified. And that's
Where are they? Are they in Boulder County?
I don't think there's any in Boulder County. More east and north.
Yeah. I went to... when I got half a hog through a CSA, I went to a butcher up in... somewhere near Greeley. I can't remember now where it was.
Yeah. So if you're there's a lot of rules around meat. If you're getting it direct from a farm, it doesn't have to be USDA certified. They can butcher it themselves, or it can be a non-USDA butcher. But for us to buy wholesale, it all has to be USDA certified. So there's more regulation around it, and unfortunately, more opportunities for waste, because basically, so each plant has a USDA inspector. It's always there. And there has to be a plan for each part of the animal. And let's say it's spleen, for example. Most people aren't eating the spleens, so there's not really a market for it. So it's not worth it for the plant to take the time and money to make a plan for what we're going to do with the spleens. It just goes in the trash. And that happens with a lot of the animal, unfortunately, especially with these smaller processors. Really big processors, it can go to dog food and stuff like that because there's a market for it. But for the smaller processors, it's kind of this ironic thing where it's they're doing a lot of things better, but the waste is actually a little bit more difficult to manage. So that's something that we're working with with Grandma Grass on, actually,
Okay.
for how we can start recovering some more of those bits.
I don't know anything about the health benefits of eating spleen or what that might taste like.
That's more for like dog treats.
Sure.
Yeah. But we have, you've probably seen an ancestral blend of a lot of our ground meat that has 10% Oregon meat blended into it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really popular because we talk about convenience. Most people don't want to cook up liver, and it's hard to make it taste good.
It is.
But if it's just mixed in there, you don't even notice, and you get all the health benefits.
I notice it, but I like to imagine that it's healthier.
Yeah.
So, I really like the breakfast sausage that has the
Nice.
has the 10%.
We also just got ground turkey with 10% Oregon meat as well.
Okay.
So
Interesting.
hitting the shelves
Yummy.
soon.
Cool. Oh, that hasn't hit that. That's not in the freezer yet.
Not yet.
Yeah. Okay.
But just to go back to the circularity of meat,
Yeah.
just keeping it all local here. You know, these cows are grazing land that needs to be grazed.
Yeah.
And especially in Boulder, which is a drought-prone area, and we get all of our rains in the spring, the grass holds, the land holds that water, and the grass can use it for months, whereas other crops, like seasonal crops, you have to irrigate them all year, or all season, because they don't have the deep roots that perennial grasses do. So in a lot of ways, it's this particular land that we have, it's really well suited for growing grass and grazing animals, because that's what evolved to happen. So we're kind of working more with nature in that way.
So I have a question. It sounds like the black cattle that I see off of US 36 when I'm driving around.
Those ones aren't grandma grass.
They're not grandma grass.
No.
Okay, but if I were to see a grandma grass ranch, it would be a similar vibe.
Yeah.
It would look.
I can show you pictures.
Okay, cool. And I'm not usually driving around, by the way. I'm usually on my bike.
I know.
On occasion, I rent a car. But what did I want to ask? So there's an economy in place for raising the livestock and grazing the lands in a way that's healthy. Is there a need, or is there a complication if more people give up fast food and start eating locally grown pasture-raised cattle? Is there going to be a necessary increase in supply, and can the land satisfy that? Or
for a long time, yeah, we cannot have our current level of meat consumption with 100% regenerative practices. Not possible.
Yeah.
There has to be some reduction. And there's a lot of other, there's meat substitutes, there's lab grown meat, there's and then there's
Is Nude Foods going to have lab grown meat soon?
we might.
Okay.
There's some controversy around that as well, but I think anything that's bringing down the demand on conventional meat supply is good. And as the demand increases for regeneratively farmed meat, then that incentivizes more farmers to switch their practices.
Yeah.
Because right now it's not the norm, but as it gains popularity and there's more demand, it will start to become more the norm.
One of the things that I always think about with respect to water and the environment and factory farmed meat is, whenever I drive northeast towards Sterling, especially in the middle of summer, I see these lush green fields that I assume, someone tell me I'm wrong, are producing soy and corn for animal feedlots. And meanwhile, we're being told there's no water for, urban projects where people are trying to live more compactly in urban environments. Well, we can't do that because there's not enough water. And I always feel like this is kind of like telling me to turn the water off when I'm brushing my teeth when we're out here aerating, turning the desert into green fields for animal feed. Anyways, have thoughts on that, or is that on your radar?
Water rights are weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's the same thing in California, right? Like, they're doing all this work to get residents to reduce their water, and I think it's like 90% of it goes to agriculture anyway.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay, well.
there's some inconsistencies there.
I'm not expecting you to solve all the world's problems.
I mean, I think that not growing corn and soy to feed to cows is a really good first step.
Yeah.
Just the amount of land that we dedicate to growing corn and soy to feed to cows and chickens and pigs, all to feed to animals. But what I will say, just the last thing on grandma grass, is it's a really good example. So what happens is the cows graze, they're taken to, a local slaughterhouse that's smaller and a little nicer, and then to us, and then to consumers. So that system is completely outside of our conventional food system.
It's not helping any private equity.
No money goes to private equity. Not 1
helping
cent.
Amazon.
No. And no one is being exploited along the way. There's no truckers that are getting paid $0 basically. There's no farm workers that are, being forced to do terrible things. There's people are being treated well, the animals are being treated well, and that produces better food.
So I want to just zero in on this thing you said about truckers, because there's a whole chapter about the trucking industry.
Wild.
And to just sort of we're not hurting truckers. If that's all you heard, you maybe would be like, well, what, cynical alarm bells are going off. But that chapter was so horrifying because I think about how, there's a distancing you can do. There's another chapter about indentured or enslaved fishers. Mm-hmm. They call them fishers in this book, I think. And it feels a world away, and it feels remote, and I don't really eat seafood, and so I kind of it doesn't hit
the same way.
It does hit it. It actually does hit really hard still.
Yeah.
But it feels like I don't know what to do about that, because I'm a world away. I'm not part of that industry. I don't know anything. But the truckers, I travel along I-80 or I-70 every year through Nebraska and to Minnesota, and I'm surrounded by people who are in a labor system that is so unjust and so cruel, and learning about that was eye-opening. Yeah,
I also didn't have any understanding of the depth of the exploitation until reading that. But the whole, just to summarize, the whole system is built on advertising to people in potentially desperate situations, getting them to work
at halfway houses, for example. You're going to someone who is at the bottom of their
doesn't have a lot of options.
Doesn't have a lot of options.
Selling them this opportunity,
yeah.
Really lying about what the opportunity is.
Bait and switch. They sell this opportunity, and then this is the one that you can actually sign up for.
Yep.
When
then
you get there,
basically forcing them into being in debt to the company, and getting as much work squeezed out of them as you can until they quit, and then you get a new batch.
Yeah, and he details the paycheck for this trucker that he spends a bunch of time with. She grosses $1,200 for the week, which if you multiply that by 52, you're like, well, that's if you get some nice percentage of that amount. But then when you go through all the expenses that
because the truckers are responsible for all the expenses.
The liability is ridiculous, the way it's just so topsy-turvy. You would think that the truckers would be very much a transactional, you drive this far, you get paid this much.
Yeah.
But instead they're this whole universe of economy in and of themselves with all this liability. and all this stuff comes out of their paycheck. And then there's a clause that basically says, well, no matter how much we take out, you're still going to get $100. And so then he talks about how many weeks in a row this trucker just got the $100 at the end of all of that work. And it's just like, whew. I don't want to buy anything that was on a truck.
Unfortunately, pretty much everything was.
I know, this hat, this shirt, this pair of pants, this microphone, everything around us, was trucked somewhere.
Yeah.
But, I mean, at least I have some awareness of it now.
Yeah. And just to put a pin in it, the entire food system is built on exploitation. And it cannot be changed. And it will not be changed. And the only option is to build another system outside of it. And so that's what we're doing. Like, by sourcing from these local producers, they're growing here and processing here and eating here. That system is outside of the exploitative normal system.
So this comes back to why I wanted to honor the sun. Because private equity and Amazon, they do not have a monopoly on the sun.
They don't. They got nothing on the sun.
Or the oxygen in the air, or the carbon dioxide. I guess we need the carbon dioxide. And it's possible to build economies outside of those systems.
Yeah, we're doing it.
You're awesome. Thank you for doing it. Yeah, that's great.
Thanks.
Yeah.
We just, gotta stop supporting the corporations.
Are you gonna have any locally organic technology, microphones, electronics? I'm pretty sure these came from China, but
yeah, I'm sure they did. Buy used. It's the best you can do.
Okay, so we did the full circular economy of meat. But we didn't talk about composting or what are some of the other links in there?
For sure. Yeah, meat's kind of its own thing. But for, let's go with vegetables. Because vegetables go more into the compost stream. So we also buy from several different local farmers. And then those come directly to us, those vegetables and whatnot. And we supply them to our customers with no packaging. And then our compost goes to local composting companies. We use Compost Colorado in Denver and Picky Pig in Boulder. And that's important because the compost that goes into your curbside bin has a lot of contamination. Maybe not from you, probably not, but it gets mixed in with other compost that has high levels of contamination. And there's not a lot of mitigation done for that contamination. And so if there's too much contamination, the whole load just gets dumped into the landfill anyway. If it seems okay, then it does get composted. But the compost that produces has so much plastic in it that really all it gets used for is to line roads. So you're not producing this high quality product.
And when you say it gets dumped to the landfill, you mean the giant pit with the plastic lined thing
and
where
the
methane gets trapped and
exactly. So that's why we have chosen to use these local composting companies that have a lot less contamination to begin with, and they do a lot of contamination mitigation. So one, we know that things are actually getting composted, and then two, the compost that they're producing is really high quality and can be sold for gardens and things like that, and actually get used in a really productive way. So then all of that carbon is getting returned to the soil, because when we grow vegetables, we're extracting nutrients and carbon from the soil to grow them, and we need to get all that stuff back in there to keep the soil healthy. So compost is a really good way to do that. Animals are also a good way to do that. But basically we have partners so that we are sourcing locally, trucking it to ourselves, or getting it moved here with local distribution companies, composting it locally. We reuse the glasses, the jars that everything comes in. So between us and our local partners, we have created this fully circular food system that again is outside of the exploitative, extractive food system of all the other grocery stores. And that's really cool because we can just not participate. And it's not every single product we have. You know, a lot of our products do come from the conventional food system. Like dried mango doesn't come from Colorado.
Yeah.
It comes from the Philippines.
You don't say. Okay.
But we want to eat it. And,
Yeah.
you know, but as we grow and we have more buying power, we can forge more of these partnerships direct to the supplier. So even things that aren't coming locally, we can be supporting, you know, the regenerative mango farmers in the Philippines and making sure that they're being dried by the sun and all these things. You know, like there's so many cool things happening in the food system right now. And there's a huge wave of not just regenerative meat, but regenerative farming for all kinds of things. You know, we have regenerative coffee from Peak State. That's awesome. And what our goal is to have all of those products for you. So like collect them all into one place. So we have all of the coolest products that are doing the coolest things.
Well, I know I like the newsletters I get from Verity, from Nude Foods, she always encourages people to try new things. And so I'm always looking around the store looking for things. Like the thing I did this week was I decided I was going to buy the loose leaf herbal tea.
Nice.
and just when I'm at home brew it. And then I took all the conventional tea I had and took it to work where it's a little less convenient for me to brew my own. And I feel like I've got this jar of peppermint that I assume hasn't seen a lot of plastic. Maybe it came in a large
The tea
bag
doesn't.
of some sort.
The tea comes in like a metal bag, which is nice.
A metal bag.
It's like
Okay.
it's not. Yeah, it's. I could show you. I don't know.
All right.
It's not plastic though, which is good.
Well, I mean, it's certainly you don't put a fourth of an ounce in a little plastic packet that you.
We don't do that.
Yeah.
The plastic tea bags scare me a little bit. Like we're gonna put a mesh plastic thing
For
in
sure.
hot water
You're
and let it
literally-
steam.
It's literally brewing like microplastic tea for yourself. I'm with you on that for sure. So one of the things I love about the newsletters from Verity is she's always asking for customers to say, well, what would keep you from making Nude Foods your primary grocery store, and like what needs can we help meet? And then part of that is like, do you have requests for specific products? I'm kind of curious. Have you had interesting requests that are like?
Oh my God! I was just looking through a
kind of
product
hilarious.
request. Oh yes, many. I don't know if I could think of one off the top of my head. I mean, we do. So we have a suggestion jar too, and there's like some kids that like to put things in there. It'll just say like candy or poop.
Nice. Well, thank you for that.
Yeah.
Well, so I have a product suggestion for you, and I took the liberty to put together what it might look like for you, and this is actually going to make your kids very happy. This is
wow.
This is Nerds gummy clusters.
In a jar.
Nerds in a jar, packaged no plastic at all.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna just I'll show this to the camera.
And we have our ingredients.
Yeah, ingredients. Very high fructose corn syrup, high fructose corn syrup, fructose corn syrup, syrup, corn, artificial flavors, and then there's a bunch of colors.
A lot of colors.
And then there's organic apple juice.
Oh, but it's fat free.
It's fat free.
No,
yeah, and great for kids.
Nice.
So, anyways, this is for you.
Oh, perfect. Thank you. I will say this goes back to sourcing standards.
Uh-huh. Do you have a local Willy Wonka candies distributor you could just get large bags of gummy clusters from? That way you could just
free from artificial flavors, dyes, and corn syrup.
It has organic apple juice.
Yeah, that makes up for it all. There's actually some cool companies that are doing gummies with like upcycled fruit.
Interesting.
That's another theme that's happening right now. There's a lot of regenerative stuff coming up and a lot of upcycled,
Okay.
which is very cool.
So take leftover apple scraps or something from...
Or like the uglies, you know?
Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah. So that is more along the lines of
What you're
products
going
we'll
for?
be bringing in.
So it's not just about the packaging.
No. In fact, the packaging is often the easier part. And there's also things, that we've brought in that do have packaging, but they are really good for another reason, like they're regenerative. Or some things just you kind of have to have in packaging, like cheese.
Or blueberries.
Blueberries.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, did you want to do recipes?
Oh yeah, I did want to do recipes because one of the things is like people feel like, well, if I buy this 4 cups of lentils, I have to cook lentils, and then like I have to chop my own veggies now. What like I don't know, but it can feel like bringing jars back and remembering to do that, and then like changing your diet. It all feels like work and extra time. I don't have time for that. I just want to eat my double cheeseburger at McDonald's in a sack as I drive through. I don't even have to get out of my car.
Yeah.
So I do have a couple recipes I want to share that are like so stupid simple that anyone can do it.
Okay.
So, hot breakfast. I do equal parts oats, quinoa, hemp hearts, chia seeds, and I just mix them dry into one of your 4-cup jars. And then I just pour hot water over it. That's it. I literally just boil water. I pour the hot water in, and then I let it cool off on the counter. I take it to work. I heat it up. Add my nuts and my a little bit of sugar and salt, and it's so easy, right?
That sounds easy.
It's very easy. Do you have one?
My breakfast is even easier.
Okay.
It's our 5 Freedoms skyr yogurt, which is the best yogurt you will ever have.
Skyr?
Skyr. It's better than Greek.
Okay.
It's like the same consistency of Greek, but without the tartness.
Okay.
It's so good. Also, 5 Freedoms dairy is amazing. Kevin loves...
You've been there.
I've been there.
Yeah.
Kevin loves his cows so much. They all have names. He gives them scratches under their neck.
Are they Gurneys?
Honestly,
are
I
they
don't remember.
Holsteins? Okay.
Yeah.
I was kind of curious about that because there was a little sidebar in the book about Gurneys versus Holsteins, and Gurneys like have this very rich yellowish color, the dairy products that come from them, and Holsteins have the pure white,
His is
anyways.
more pure white.
Okay.
Yeah. Not A2.
Okay. Sorry, I interrupted.
Oh, that's okay.
For no good reason.
It's just the yogurt is so good. It's so good. And then I put almond butter on that, or peanut butter, whatever needs to be eaten, because I mostly just scrounge around for my food, and cacao nibs, and it's so good.
My weekend breakfast is a couple slices of kinship bread toasted, some kimchi from, I can't remember the name. Cream?
Yeah.
Okay, with a K.
Yeah.
And then a couple eggs from,
Nice.
I'm not sure, maybe Croft.
And then avocado on top?
I don't usually do avocado. Okay, I'll add that. So that's my weekend breakfast. I have some daily foods that I do, but one of the, like when I'm really tired and I don't feel like cooking and I want to reach for the phone and order takeout, a meal that I like to do is the ramen noodles. So I take the ramens, I'll just crack an egg or two over it. I'll put it in a bowl, pour hot water. I add some spice from, I've got a couple different spice things that I use.
Yeah.
And add some of the edamame.
Nice.
It's just a symbol, and you just let it, and then you just walk away from it for like 10 minutes, and I come back, I throw it in the microwave until it's cooked. Be sure to poke the egg so that when you don't want to microwave an egg, that's not where the yolk isn't poked.
Yeah. I
learned that the hard way. But anyways, it's a super delicious, easy meal that's quick and low effort. And it also like hits that spot of like, it's not a double cheeseburger with fries, but it's comfort food for sure. It's like, it's not like, it doesn't feel like you're eating lentils and bell peppers.
Yeah. My go-to salad lately has been arugula with strawberries sliced.
Just for clarification, I was not describing a salad.
I'm aware.
I don't think of that as salad.
I'm switching gears to salad just because this has been my most excited. It's just so good. Arugula, sliced strawberries, our goat cheese from Yodar Farm in southern Colorado.
Okay.
And then toasted sliced almonds. And then you can just do like oil and vinegar with that, or you can use our balsamic vinaigrette. That's delicious.
I want to do that. Every time I have a wonderful salad, I'm like, why don't I do this several times a week?
Yeah,
and I don't. I keep forgetting.
I will say, I think our salad dressings at regular grocery stores are gross. They just don't taste good. And salad dressing is so easy to make good. Yeah. And ours are good because they're just made and put in the fridge, and they don't have preservatives, and they're not gross. And it really makes your salad experience much better. When you read the ingredients list on a salad dressing, it's a bit like this.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like a ridiculous array of chemicals.
You don't have to. Our salad dressings last forever. Like, they're vinegar. They last like a year.
Yeah, they're wonderful.
Yeah. I will just say, too, if you really don't feel like cooking, we have lots of prepared foods.
Oh, well, obviously. So when I found out about Nude Foods in the first place, I was so excited because I've had this fantasy of a business that I don't want to start. I just want it provided to me. Instead of a fast food restaurant, it's like a soup kitchen meets fast food restaurant meets Nude Foods, like soup in jars. You get a loaf of bread, you get some soups, and so this is the fantasy I've had circling around in my head for years before you came along. Nice. And now I have this place I can go. I get the most wonderful soup, the most wonderful bread. It's super easy, heat and serve. Thank you.
No problem. Thank Flavio. He makes the soups.
Okay. You make big batches of soup, small batches of soup, in this building.
In this building.
Yeah. But you have some happy customers that walk through the door. I've had some good interactions with folks here.
We have very happy customers. Yeah. They're very endeared to us, which is very nice.
Anyways, thank you for tackling this supply chain problem in such a hands-on. It must be like a contact sport, I guess.
Yeah, it is a little bit complicated. Just to juxtapose against how it normally works. So, like King Soopers, for example. If you want to sell in King Soopers, you have to use King Soopers distributor. They work with one distributor.
Yeah.
And that's how it works. And that's a lot simpler and easier. But then you get...
Simpler and easier for them.
Yes. Yeah. So, again, we're trying to take on all that extra work so that you don't have to.
Thank you.
I was at the grocery store a while back, and I found a ham in the discount meat section. It had about 5 price tags slapped on it. And the one on the top said $12. And so I snatched that thing up. It was more of a two-handed hoist because it was a 20-pound ham, so not a bad price. Not bad at all. But then I debated whether I should put it in my cart or not, or carry it out over my shoulder like a proud hunter-gatherer. I don't know why I was proud of it, but I kind of was. Maybe it was because I had just caught it with my bare hands, I guess. I took it home and started carving it up. Put about 15 pounds of it in the freezer. Set some aside for my dinner. I had the most delicious grilled cheese and ham sandwich, which I would have really enjoyed, except like a ding dong. I clicked on a video that a friend had sent me. I could tell by the thumbnail that this was not going to be nearly naked young people bouncing around on trampolines.
or some other wholesome activity. No, this was one of these factory farming horror shows that features an adolescent hog that's taking its very first steps of its entire life. It goes down the chute there to the guillotine. Fuck. This is going to sound like a humble brag. I don't think this makes me a better person or anything, but when I eat ham, I like to imagine it's from a hog that was pasture raised on a small local organic farm. It's been fed apples and carrots by hand by a little red-headed girl with freckles and pigtails. And maybe its best friend is a brown barn spider named Charlotte, who just, really just didn't try hard enough. But as I was watching that video, it occurred to me that like my bucolic imagination probably isn't alleviating any actual animal suffering, especially at 60 cents a pound. So I decided that I was going to give up factory farmed animal food products. And so when the McDonald's in my neighborhood got torn down, I was like, sweet, good riddance. I don't need that shit in my diet. About 6 months later, I realized they were just clearing out the old building to make room for a new building. And I was like, oh, thank God. I love me some McDonald's from time to time. I don't know what's wrong with me. I'm trying to be a healthy eater and a ethical consumer, but it's not easy. I was at Whole Foods recently looking for pasture-raised pork, and I couldn't find any. The butcher said that's not really a thing because any habitat that you put hogs into, they just obliterate it, turns everything into dirt. And so she was like, but don't worry, hogs are some of the meanest, nastiest, most brutish creatures you have ever encountered in your life, so you really don't have to feel bad about eating them. And I was like, in my brain, I'm like, I'm not sure that's how the ethics of animal suffering but with my mouth, I was like, oh, that's good to know. I'll have 2 pounds of that Italian sausage. I think this is why I don't sleep well at night. I've got all this cognitive dissonance rattling around up here. We've tried a lot of different approaches to food over the years. This one time, my wife Akane, she tells me that she wants to become a vegan. That's not quite right. She announced that she was a vegan, and with my mouth, I'm like, "That's great, honey. Let's do this." But in my brain, I'm like, dear God, I hope I can make it through the next few weeks until this blows over. I felt pretty confident that I could because at the time I had about 15 pounds of ham in the freezer. And by the way, this is why I save bacon fat in the 4-cup jar. It's because it is so good for frying out veggie burgers. Anyways.